Hi there, I'm Shy Fox, and today we're going to draw a chicken. I'm going to take you through this tutorial step by step so that you can follow along and draw this too, no matter your skill level. I'm going to be using Clip Studio Paint, but if you use a different art program, that's fine as well. Lots of the tools that I'm using are basic and most programs will have them. If you've never made digital art before, you can check out my playlist with videos of what you'll need to know before getting started in digital art. Any other videos or links mentioned during this video will be in the description so that you can go back and check them at your own convenience. Be sure to like and subscribe if you want to see more tutorials like this one and more digital art tutorials in general. I've got lots to teach so that you can improve your digital art skills. And if you're not a digital artist, no worries, you can always just draw with a pencil and paper. This is the way I have my workspace set up. I've reset Clip Studio Paint back to its default, so for the most part everything should be relatively a default, so nothing crazy that you won't be able to follow along with. But if you're missing like a window or something, you can go to the Window tab and bring back one of these windows, and you can see here these are the ones that I have showing and open. The brushes I'm using are also just like default basic brushes, but you can improvise and use any brush that you want. So for creating the canvas, we're going to go File, New, and we're going to do 3000 by 3000 with a resolution of 90. And I also like to have the record time lapse turned on. And then I click OK. And then from here, pick a pencil. Any pencil will do. And I'm going to draw with a bluish color just to start with. And our canvas is a square. So roughly in the center of our canvas, we want to draw a circle, maybe a bit more of an oval as it has some extra width to it for our chicken's body. And then let's draw a circle close by on one side to represent where the head's gonna be. Our chicken's also gonna have a bit of a tail, so we can even just kind of mark that in with just sort of a rounded cone shape on the back. And we can also just kind of mark in where the feet are going to connect. Just a little rounded shape at the bottom, like rounded but triangular. And we have the base for our chicken. So from here, we're going to turn down the opacity to about 50% of this layer. And this is a layer that we can ultimately delete. So it's no big deal if this was like the paper layer or something, because that layer we can just get rid of. But at 50% here roughly, that's fine. Let's create a whole new layer, and we're gonna just start sketching our chicken now. I'm gonna make my brush slightly smaller, and I'm gonna start by connecting the chicken's head to the body. So we can do a line at the top, on the back of the neck, and then we can have from the front of the body and the neck, we can just start drawing that in. We can even kind of make a little lump there to be like a feather, because our chicken's gonna have some feathers. And just go around, and then we can follow this shape down that we kind of had this sticking out at the bottom, and maybe even do some feathers like that. And we want to connect it up to the back. So we're actually going to do little feather lumps as we go back towards the tail. Directionally, it's best if these point sort of upwards and back towards the tail, but it's not a big deal if they kind of are seemingly going in a bit different directions. But as we get towards the top of the tail, we might want to make some of these longer, like that. And let's do a couple small ones here, and they're going to sort of all angle together, kind of like that. Doesn't have to be perfect. And then we'll just have one longer line connecting back to the body. And we're gonna connect the back of where the neck is. I'm actually gonna make this a little thicker, the neck a little thicker. So I just erased that, and we're gonna do that and have this connect, and we're gonna do a little bump like that. So I'm going to show you again, because this might be like, what did you just do? We're just going to do a little bump like that, and I'm going to erase where the lines are meeting. Just some extra shape for our chicken, for him to feel plump. Plump chicken. Good. So let's do a little wing in there. We want to draw maybe kind of a rounded shape like that. And from here, actually I'm going to move it a little higher. All right, like that. Wherever is fine. And then we're gonna draw in the chicken wing. So let's do little bumps here as well. However you do it is fine. I'm kind of doing long ones, and then once we're at the bottom or to the end of the wing, kind of a few more, and then kind of long back, a long line back. That should be fine. Let's draw our chicken's face now. We want at the top of the head to have, you know, I don't even know what this is called. The little bumpy parts. That's what we're going to call it. The little bumpy parts of our chicken head. And then we can have even little feathers coming at the back of the head to connect. Again, making our chicken feel fluffy and feathery. And let's add a little beak pretty well at the center of our circle. A little beak. So let's zoom in just a little bit. So a rounded shape, and then this can kind of do a wobble, like a little wobble like that, and a little rounded bit there, and then a smaller under part of the beak that just kind of connects like that. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna actually shrink my pencil a little bit, and I'm gonna do a round circle there and a bigger circle inside to kind of be the eye of our chicken. And another little wobbly bit for the bottom of the chicken's face here. Let's do it like that. And then we want to connect all this stuff. So let's do just a line like that. And let's do a line like this. So I'm actually going to erase where this is. Instead of having the neck feel thin, it would be better to have our neck feel like thicker and wider, just because our chicken is again plump and feathery. I'm actually going to delete that layer I mentioned from before, the underneath layer. So let's just delete that. We don't really need it anymore. And I guess we ended up doing part of the wing on this layer. So I'm just going to erase that a little bit, just make it look a little cleaner. Not a big deal if it's not the cleanest. We can always touch it up and make that look a little bit better. I'm just going to add feathers here. Let's add a couple of feathers on the inside of the wing. Some long ones and maybe some small ones. And let's kind of do the same thing with our chicken's tail. I am going to have them kind of touching and connected, and then maybe have some random other ones like that. And a couple more at the front of the chicken's body. Let's do the feet. We're gonna have to start by doing the legs. So kind of where this is pointed at the bottom, line down, and the leg is pretty skinny. And then the feet might seem tricky, but we'll try and simplify it by going step by step. So we have leg, and this is gonna be the leg that's closer to us. And we'll do little shape like that. Let's do another one, little shape like that, and another one. They're all kind of rounded and pointed forward, and then we'll do another little back claw facing the other way, and it's smaller than the front ones. It might look kind of weird, but don't think it needs to look like super perfect. If you have the 3 toes kind of going forward and the one small kind of little toe going back, you should be fine. Let's do the other side. Line down, skinny as well. Try and get them roughly the same thickness is best. And we want claw, 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 and back claw. So I've decided I don't want the feet to be touching. I think it would be better in this case if they aren't overlapping. So I've done it like that. And the positioning of where the chicken's leg is on the far side is further back than sort of the placement of this one. So you can see how the near foot is kind of further down than the foot further back. So I'm going to move our chicken to the middle of the page just for the sake of centering our sketch. And I'm gonna go ahead and line this chicken. So to do that, I'm gonna turn the opacity down. You know, my sketch is all on one layer. So if you happen to put your sketch on various layers, it's a good time to merge it and also make any changes, clean it up, whatever. But I am gonna move forward with this chicken, and I'm gonna make a vector layer in this case. If you don't have vector, don't worry about it. Just don't worry about it at all. But I have made line art tutorials, and if you wanna check those out, they'll be in the description or top right here. And today my line art brush of choice is actually gonna be the same tool. I'm gonna use the pencil tool with a higher brush density and hardness setting. And I kind of like the soft feel to a pencil brush for the line art. So I'm just gonna get a closer look at this, and I'm gonna start going around our chicken. So once you have finished the line art, you can actually turn off or delete your sketch layer. It looks really similar, but it's just like a cleaner version of our sketch in this case. And we're gonna color our chicken. So to do that quickly and easily, let's select our line art layer. Let's click the Set as Reference Layer button, the lighthouse, and I'm just gonna create a folder underneath it for the colors to go in. Put a layer inside of it, find my fill bucket tool, and select the refer only to editing layer. Now the trick here is there might be some settings we need to fix inside of here to make our fill bucket tool work properly. I do have a video on using this fill bucket tool in Clip Studio Paint. I'll link it in the top right in case you're having trouble, and go from there. But in general, these are the settings that I'm using. So if you use something similar, then that should work fine. So I'm actually gonna do the chicken in white, sort of the main body part, click that, and I'm gonna create a new layer for the different parts. So we're gonna do red for our wobbly bits. And so red there, and then I'm gonna select a color for the legs, and it's occurring to me now that our line art actually is still blue. I never actually changed that, so I would like to change that. So kind of do the beak the same color, and you know what, I'm gonna just go back and do the inside part of the eye in white as well. So we kind of filled all those in. Now's a good time to fix our lines of our chicken. There's a couple different ways you can do this depending on how you colored your lines. If you did it on a regular layer, you can just click the preserve opacity, the lock transparent pixels button, and then you can color over top of the lines. That's the easiest way to do that. But if you used vector like I did, you can select your vector layer, find the object tool. It might be sharing buttons with one of these, so if you don't see it in your toolbar, you're just gonna have to look for it. It should be up here. And so object tool, and then from there you can change the color. So I'm just gonna make it brown like that. And I also have the option to do things like increase the brush size if I wanted to, and even change the brush type. Getting a quick little line art tutorial here, so I can even try out a different look if I wanted. Pen tool, this is what it'd be like if I use the pen. The only adjustment I want to make is I'm just gonna intensify the brush density. I like the look of the pencil tool, but I was thinking I wish it was a little more dense. So anyways, I'm gonna just increase that. And let's apply some super basic shading to our chicken. On our layer with all the white, I'm going to make a new layer. I'm going to clip it on, and I'm going to choose a grayer color than our white, and I'm going to find I like the round mixing brush, and I'm going to make it big, and I'm just going to do a big swipe like that across the bottom of the chicken. It's kind of matching our background right now. I actually don't want it that dark, so I'm just going to lighten it up with the opacity slider. I mean, you could pick a different color, but I do it this way to be quick. I'm actually just going to erase certain parts like that, and then go in and add some little shading under some of the feathers. Just kind of following the line of that, and maybe back here by the tail. Is this a tail? I don't know. Do chickens have tails? Someone tell me. I think it's a tail. And under the neck is another good spot to have some of this shadow. And as per my style, I'm just going to erase on these large edges here. And I think I want to do the same thing, add a little shading to the red, new layer, clip it on. I'm going to color pick that red to make sure I've got the same one selected, pick a darker one, and I'm just going to apply a little bit of darker red to the front of the face. So sort of like underneath right here, and then I'll just do kind of a line like that. And I'll zoom in for you. Like that. Kind of open to interpretation if you want to kind of shade it your own way. Color your chicken your own way. You could color your chicken any which way, and you can make a brown chicken. All right, our chicken is done. Good job. If you want to add a little background to your chicken, maybe your chicken wants to stand in a field with some grass or something like that, you go ahead and add that. So to make my chicken fancy, I added a thick border around it and colored some of my lines, some different colors at various parts. And then I also have added some background stuff, and now I have a complete fancy chicken. You go ahead and change your fancy chicken to be fancy however you want, and I actually darkened the feather colors as well. But other than that, this is what you get, and I hope you enjoyed the tutorial. Thanks for drawing along. I've got more farm animal draw-alongs coming, so be sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.